back to the group chat for another week. I am joined virtually by Goran. How are you doing, Goran? Welcome back once again. Good to have you.
Yeah, good, Charlie. I'm feeling great. Repping the Liverpool Football Club top because they're top of the pops. They've destroyed Manchester City. Everybody's doing it, but jump on the bandwagon, lads, and put the boot in when they're down. So yeah, I'm feeling great, mate. Hope you are too.
Yeah, well, I'm ripping the Kansas City Chiefs jersey. We had a win on the weekend. It's scrappy. I think we're 11-1 on the season, and we've won 9 of those games in a one-score game. So we keep winning it dirty, but the best teams do it dirty.
Yeah, man. Winning ugly is still winning. So you got to celebrate those moments, man.
How was your weekend? You survived the birthday party?
Yeah. I'm just looking around. Some of the things are still up on the wall. We've got balloons and banners and things like that. My boy Nico turned 5, and so it was like a Wonder Boy themed party. We had something like close to 15 kids in the house, and whenever a kid was crying, I thought, surely that's one of mine, but managed to avoid all the tears. I didn't cry as well. It was a successful weekend, and nobody really injured themselves. One kid ran straight into the ranch slider window and was in tears for about 5 minutes. But
thinking the window was open, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
the ranch slider.
Yeah. There was a scavenger hunt, right? And so all these kids are charging off, and he thought, I've got a shortcut through this window. Boom. Yeah, no shortcut for you, mate.
The deck?
But, what's that?
Hit the deck, so head into the window and just drop.
Yeah. I mean, old school ranch slider, that is a trip to hospital because, there's no such thing as safety glass and just be shards of glass and blood everywhere. But
hands through, half the head poking out.
Thank goodness it's not the 80s, eh?
I saw Gladiator last night, and I reckon if you go through the glass window, you get some scenes that were looking like Gladiator.
Is it as good as the original?
I liked it. I thought they did well, kind of working with the original, taking elements from that, and then it's like its own standalone story too, which is nice. But it does pay tribute to the old one, which I liked. I really liked the first one, and I was really keen to go and watch this one. So I posted up at an 8:30 p.m. movie. Got back late, but you got to do what you got to do to.
So if it's a standalone, I'm assuming there's no signs of Russell.
He does feature, yeah. It's like flashbacks.
Okay.
So, yeah. And there is mention, I think it's set 16 years after the first one.
I suppose they're right to use flashbacks because I don't know what kind of state he's in these days, like in terms of gut circumference and probably beard as well. Is he growing one? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but he definitely wouldn't be looking like how he did in the first one because he looks like a tank in the first one.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah, what was it, 2002, I think?
Yeah, wow, more than 20 years
ago. Yeah.
So highly recommend it? I should go along, check it out?
If you like the first one, I'd recommend go watching it, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to do the double, go watch Gladiator and then watch Moana 2 as well, but didn't go.
Is that what they're calling the double these days?
Well, you know how you get like the Barbenheimer and there was something else as well. But
yeah, Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I think there was another one. Can't remember what it was. I'm sure they can make it one up for Gladiator. Also, the Wicked movie was out, so it's a triple threat.
Oh gosh, you spend all day there.
You could. We could just post up 9 to 5 movie reviews podcast.
Make it our full-time job. I mean, there are websites and things like that out there. Like, is it Roger Ebert has made a living out of it? Well, he's dead now, but his name lives on in website form, and people just write reviews for movies, basically panning everything that's ever been made. But maybe that's a little side project you and I can get into.
We could do some movie reviews. I actually read one on Gladiator. I read 2 polar opposites this morning. Great movie, unreal, pays great tribute to the original, and the other one was just this dead ass stinks, worst movie, never should have been made. But that's just people trying to hate for hating, right? And
yeah. But that's classic, right? That's the classic review. I mean, The review that I saw for Wicked, it was just a headline. Actually, I didn't bother with it. It was saying that it's racist towards green-skinned people, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute.
Didn't know you
I've
could.
never seen a green-skinned person in my life.
The Grinch. I've seen the Grinch.
You've seen him.
Yeah, dress up, Grinch. Yeah.
But the Grinch isn't real, and neither are green-skinned people. So I just thought, well, the whole concept of it being racist towards green-skinned people was ridiculous.
So you didn't bother reading that article?
I did not. I thought this is clickbait, and I'm just going to avoid it. Move on.
Did you see it on Facebook? I feel like Facebook is the goat of clickbait articles.
Are you sure it's not New Zealand Herald?
True. But do you have to buy most of their ones, don't you?
Yeah, it's all premium stuff, eh?
Yeah, I don't mess around with that. I'm not paying $2.50 a month to read.
Well, who's got $2.50 anyway? Times are tough, and cost of living is just creeping up every week. So yeah, $2.50 stays in my back pocket. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, weekend wrap up, quick fire, top moments from the weekend. What do you got for me?
Oh, come on, mate. It should be obvious. Mind you, it wasn't the weekend, but I'm calling Monday morning the weekend because Liverpool beat Manchester City. So there was that. That was the top moment for me. And then within that, the moment where the Anfield faithful are singing to Pep Guardiola that you're going to get sacked in the morning, and he just turns around with a smirk on his face and holds up 6 fingers, representing the 6 Premier League titles he's won over the last 7 seasons. So, yeah, awesome banter there.
Have you seen the memes about that have come out?
What's that, sorry?
The memes about Pep doing that one?
No, I haven't seen it.
It was just everyone posting, and it was like, the Man City losing streak before this morning, and it was just him doing that.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Yeah. And then staying with the Premier League, Chris Wood getting on the score sheet again, picking up his 9th goal of the season from the penalty spot against Ipswich. He just can't stop scoring. Nottingham Forest can't stop winning. And it's great to see because, even though, most New Zealand football fans would be like, oh, yeah, Chris Wood, he's fantastic. I think they'd also make a concession that he needs to be at a club that's sort of like, I don't know, almost involved in a relegation battle. Like that's his niche.
It's his mantra.
But how awesome is it to see him thriving at a club and all of a sudden, we're more than a third of the way through the season now, and Forest are 6th.
Yeah.
And he's 3rd in the Golden Boot race. So, yeah, for all those people who have said, look, the guy can't cut it at a top club, look where he is. Forest have got European history, pedigree, and now here he is banging in goals for a team that's firmly entrenched in the top half of the EPL.
Yeah, no, he's winning games for a winning team, which is great to see.
Yeah, so those are mine. My magic moments, my top moments from the weekend. What about yours, Charlie?
Well, I guess you could throw Arsenal in there.
You could.
I think I saw West Ham fans leaving at about the 32nd minute mark. And I think the stadium was pretty empty by the 85th minute. So,
what is the point of that? What is the point?
Leaving?
Bailing on your team.
Yeah.
I just spoke about the cost of living, and it's high everywhere. And tickets to Premier League matches would be, take out a second mortgage. Why on earth would you bail on your team?
I don't get that, eh?
Nah.
If I went to a game and my team's down 3-0, I mean, we've seen it in the Premier League this season. Teams have come back from 3-0 down, even into the 80th minute. So, I mean, and they ended up getting 2 back. They were 2 meaningless goals. But you go watch your team, see them score a couple goals, you ride with them. But I guess that's just what English fans do, right? They just dip.
It's
the traffic, I guess.
Yeah, it's not kind. It's not polite. Sorry, I'm only going to support you guys if you're beating one of the top of the table teams. It doesn't work like that. Mind you, this is just what they do year after year, eh? So it must just be something that's ingrained in them. And, if my father did that, then I'll do it and I'll teach my son the same thing. Like, if your team's not performing, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. I guess it's showing what the team that, if you're not going to win, we don't want to support you. So start winning and we'll come back.
Yeah, but if it's West Ham against Arsenal, what's the likelihood of you winning, you're pushing shit uphill with a stick, right? So you're gonna see some pretty disappointing efforts in your day.
Yeah, wow. I'm going to stick with the winning jerseys. So the Chiefs got their 19-17 win over the Las Vegas Raiders, divisional game for us, and we moved to 11-1 on the season. Massive win, but it just added to the conspiracy that the NFL is rigged and the script writing wants the Chiefs to win another Super Bowl. That's all I've been hearing after it. So the Las Vegas Raiders had a chance to win it with about 15 seconds to go. They were well into Chiefs territory, kicking a field goal to win it 20 points to 19. All you got to do is secure the ball, get it down, have a field goal, win it. The last play before taking the field goal, they fumbled the snap. Chiefs recovered the ball, so it's Chiefs possession, 15 seconds to go, game's done, we'll take the win. Everyone just hates on the fact that the Chiefs find ways to win. It's actually it's quite amusing because it's always the refs, it's always the Chiefs, but a win's a win. I'd rather win dirty than lose pretty. So
yeah, when you watch something like that and you think, "Ooh, I wonder if there's a little bit of match or spot fixing involved," do you think like there's an investigation to be had, and how many investigations are had?
Well, I'm sure lots of the people are doing their own investigations. I don't think people will actually be going into the NFL or, your BetMGM in the States or your FanDuel sports books and running stuff against them. There is a lot of Vegas calling because they've got the phones down on the field. So they're just like, oh, Vegas is calling now. We need the Chiefs to win because the Raiders upset, we're bankrupt. So right. I don't know. I don't think there's any investigation into it. I mean, people just hate to see teams continue winning, right? Like, I think the Patriots went on the same run with Tom Brady when they won 6 Super Bowls, and everyone hated the Patriots, and now the Chiefs are just doing the same thing. So,
classic
on the winning side.
Yeah, classic cutting down tall poppies, right?
Yeah.
Nobody likes to see a winner.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess for me, Glenn Phillips, we'll get on to the cricket, but unbelievable catch. I saw something about him being the taker of great catches, but not a great taker of catches because he dropped another 2. So
because he pulled off a catch like that against Australia, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he get old Marnus out in exactly the same fashion?
Yeah, Marnus at Gully, same thing, outstretched, horizontal, right hand, and it just sticks.
So if it's like a Superman-style catch, Glenn Phillips is your man.
Yep.
If it's just a regulation catch, you need him the hell out of the way.
Yeah, get him out of there. I think it's like a reaction thing. So when you've got time to think about it, and it's like you get yourself into position, you're either catching it reverse cup, you're going fingers down, you've actually got time to think. That's when you get yourself into the shit. But when it's purely just reactions, you stick your hand out and it either sticks or it doesn't. Yeah. That's when you'll pull it off.
And I suppose, and you're the cricketer out of the two of us, I suppose his sort of grounding as a wicketkeeper as well, that reactionary type situation is what wicketkeepers are known for. It's what they, sitting there behind the stumps for days on end. I suppose he's got that in his arsenal. But I was so pleased to hear you talk about reverse cup because quite often that is just abandoned. And the number of times over the years I've seen someone like Tim Southey go with that one when the ball's been skied. And what happens when you lose it here? It goes beyond your eyes, you have no idea where the ball's traveling and you end up dropping it. Like just get the fingers up and above the head. Yeah. And if you bobble it, then at least you've got a second go at it.
Yeah. I personally, reverse cup, go-to for any catch. If it's up in the air,
any catch.
If it's flat at me, I'm going there. If it's low and I'm in the slips, I'm trying to get down. If it's below knees, I'll take
a worm burner and you're trying reverse cup, mate. How flexible are you?
Well, I try, keep the hips loose, You're
doing Pilates every day.
Yeah. I'm on that buzz at the moment. So I'll try and I'll get down. But I'm trying to reverse cup everything just for that reason, so I can swatch it right in there rather than, be up in an awkward position.
Yeah.
So
There
yeah,
used to be a South African guy by the name of, was he Brian McMillan? This will be before your time, mate. And he was in the slips, and he used to like go at it like he was a crocodile.
oh yes,
Just try and snap it like this. And
and he was in the slips catching it like
yeah, yeah. I remember this is a long time ago. It would be maybe like 90s. South Africa went to Australia for the World Series of cricket. And that was the first time I saw him, and he's like trying to snatch at these slips catches. And he had a modicum of success, but it looked a little bit dangerous.
That's one of the worst things as a junior coach trying to teach kids how to catch a ball. They'll all try and catch it like that, and that's like the first thing you teach them not to do.
Yeah.
And this guy's doing it on the international stage.
Where do you park up on the cricket pitch? Like, where are you?
I'll go second slip, gully, in that kind of area.
So you are Glenn Phillips.
Yeah, although last year I don't think I took a catch at gully. So I moved to second slip this year. I've taken 2 this season. Moved back to gully, dropped another one. But I think second slip's kind of where I'll reside.
Oh, with all those drops, you'd fit right into the Black Caps, eh?
Yeah, well, we can talk about that. Catches win matches, and I think that rings true here because we got humped by England. 8 wickets. They needed 100 runs with a day and a half to get. So, and the debutant, Jake Bethel or Jacob Bethel with 50 off 30 rocks? Looks pretty good. But yeah, 8 dropped catches in the first innings. Bad enough having to take 10 wickets, let alone 18.
Not good, eh? One of my old mates, Andrew Alderson, who writes for the Herald, actually, I think it was behind a paywall. I didn't want to spend the $250, obviously, but I got the first couple of paragraphs, and within those 2 lines, I saw that Alders had calculated that the 8 drops had cost the Black Caps anywhere between 124 and 251 runs. And that's far too many runs.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have read more, but, behind the paywall and all that. I suppose I could call them up and get them to email me a copy.
Hey, can you flip me through the Word copy?
Whatever way you slice it, you drop 8 catches, you're going to get flogged. And that's exactly what happened. And what a come down after the heights of India and beating India over there 3-zip. And then you go to Hagley Oval, and it looks an absolute picture. That's the way Test cricket should be. Like the lovely grass embankment all the way around, beautiful conditions, and then New Zealand doesn't turn up. It was. I'll say there were a couple of bright points, and it was basically Kane Williamson and Daryl Mitchell, right? And they were the only 2 to fire in the second innings. After all of those dropped catches, you're kind of hoping like, okay, knuckle down in that second innings, give England something to chase, bit of scoreboard pressure, and then it just didn't eventuate, and there was just nothing outside of those 2 in the second innings.
Well, I think after you drop 2-3 catches, you can come back from that, but I think when you get 4+ range, that's when the bottom lips dropped. Guys are just like, all right, what's the point? Another one comes my way, we're not going to catch it. Go back to the dressing room after you've finally bowled England out, and everyone's probably pretty deflated.
Yeah.
Not wanting to go out there and bat. I mean, we still had a long time to bat, and Kane, so good to have him back in the squad. It's going to be a terrible day when he decides to hang up the boots.
Do you still think that there are a couple of selection quandaries or issues ahead of the next test? What do you want to see happen?
Well, there's lots of talk of Santner coming in.
The Santa Claus, just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, Santa Claus making his way in. It is December, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do bring him in. But I don't know who you come in for. Are they dragging Southey along for the sake of it's his goodbye test farewell? I mean, he's bowling mids, to be fair. 125, 130 Ks. He's not really he swings the ball around, but he's not as threatening as he once was. So we just bring him along for the ride. Do you bring Santner in? Will Young, he's been unreal for the Black Caps, was pivotal in India, and he's not playing. And we lacked runs against England, who are a team that aren't scared of chasing 350 runs, 400 plus.
Can I also make a suggestion, and feel free to poo-poo it and shout it down. I've never really understood the value of Tom Blundell. I think he's good, but he's not great. And if you've got guys who can keep wickets, like Glenn Phillips, we mentioned him earlier, and maybe he has a bit more success if he's got gloves on his hands when the ball comes his way. Tom Latham, I know he's probably got a little bit on his plate now, as a leader and an opening batsman, but he's kept wickets before. I'm just trying to think of ways to get Will Young in the team. What's that? Sorry,
get Will Young in or to get Blundell out?
It's a bit of both.
I think the issue with Latham, there's a lot on his plate. He's opening the batting, so you'd like him to bat all day, and then keep all day, and then be the skipper and run the show. So
it's a bit much.
It is a bit much. The other option is, I don't know if you could drop Latham down the order and bring in another opening bat. There's Reece Maru from Canterbury. He is scoring boatloads of runs, and he's 22. He got a double ton last week, 178 this week, opening the batting for Canterbury. So why don't we just chuck in a young gun? Latham down the order can open with Conway and then chuck the gloves on, because I think you're right. Blundell, he's good, but he's not test quality good, I don't think. His keeping is good, although he let himself down with a couple drop catches. His batting, he's definitely in a rough patch. So get back down to domestic cricket, score some runs, get the confidence up. Maybe you come back in. But we're out of the World Test Championship now, so why don't we play around with some things?
Yeah, a little bit of experimentation, if you like. And this is the good thing about Black Caps cricket. There's always a selection discussion, isn't there? Nobody's ever 100% happy with the team. Yeah. And there's always something that you can tinker with. And
I think the issue with Black Caps selection is there's like a prerequisite of 31 plus usually.
Right.
Apart from maybe Rachin. I think, the last World Cup, we had no one under the age of 30, apart from Rachin Ravindra. So we just don't like bleeding young guys. But now it feels like it's the perfect time to get someone in. And like Nathan Smith, unreal with the ball. I think he's got to play again. Yeah. He should have had a fifer.
Hey, speaking of Black Caps bowlers, like where is lovely Trenty? What happened to Trent Bolt?
What Trenty's doing? He's probably chasing the bag around the world playing short format cricket. I know he turned down the New Zealand contract.
Because gosh, I miss seeing him play.
Oh yeah,
and just his guile and his thought process. Like swinging it away from a left-hander, swinging it away, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just goes on, and he's trapped someone LBW or knocked over his poles. Like a Black Cap side without Trent Bolt just doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't feel right. I mean, lovely Trenty's been the spearhead of the attack for a long time. And I mean, he's just been picked up for something like $2 million in the IPL auction. So
someone's seeing value in him somewhere.
Yeah. And I think so. He would have turned down the New Zealand contract so he can go and play these tournaments. I think if you got a New Zealand contract, then you got to be here. You have to play the Super Smash, which will be kicking off soon. And I know they've worked the Test series around making sure the Black Caps are available for that Super Smash.
I wonder what he feels though. Like not representing the nation.
And won this game.
Yeah, he could have won the game for the Black Caps, but then the bank balance isn't quite as healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
As a result of that. So, what makes you happier at the end of the day, like your family's financial security or helping out the nation?
Wow. I guess we've seen a lot of what people are choosing in that regard, and it's I think it's helping out the family.
And
he's done his stint for the Black Caps. I mean, he deserves to go out and do what he wants to do. So, fair play to the guy.
All right. Well, good luck.
I do believe Saturday at the cricket was the dress-up day.
Oh, dress-up day.
So,
like a specific day that you're allowed to dress up. You can't dress up outside of Saturday.
It's a great question.
Surely you can dress up whatever day you want.
You could probably dress up all 5 days. But I think
why wouldn't
Saturday
you?
Was the specific, try to get everyone in, have a big party, dress up day. And the theme was just Hawaiian shirts by the looks of things. So if you were going to the cricket,
Basic.
what would you dress up as? What would you be doing?
Okay. So last year at my stag do,
Here we go.
all of my mates wore... how old are you, Charlie?
23.
23. Do you remember the NWO?
No.
The New World Order in WCW wrestling?
No, I didn't. I wish I watched more wrestling while I was younger. I didn't watch a lot of wrestling.
Well, it's still around. Like you can still watch wrestling. I think it's coming to Netflix next year. But anyway, all my mates were dressed up in NWO shirts, and I thought I was going to be wearing the same. But my best mate pulls out a Hulk Hogan costume. You know who Hulk Hogan is, right? Yeah. So it's sort of like, red and yellow. I've got a massive handlebar moustache and a wig and bandana and things like that. I've got the heavyweight world title on my shoulder as well. And then off we go to town. And it's the best thing ever because people are like, holy shit, it's Hulk Hogan. He's got the belt. And, in the pub we were in, the belt was being passed around here, there, and everywhere. And then you'd have these sort of like orchestrated fights to try and win the belt back. And so I'm thinking maybe the following dress-up day, whatever day it is for the next test, maybe it's a wrestling dress-up day, and you've got Hulk Hogan, you've got Macho Man Randy Savage, you've got the Ultimate Warrior Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Jake the Snake Roberts, and these people are trying to win the belt, and it just sort of goes here, there, and everywhere around the oval, and then at the end of the day's play, whoever's got the belt wins some kind of awesome prize.
Could you see that playing out on the bank at the Basin?
Hell yeah.
Well, first day is Friday, and we're just around the corner at our office down here, so I might try suss a belt and just waltz down there and see if anyone wants to try fight for it.
I mean, the problem you'll run into is that people will actually want to fight you.
It won't fight me. I'll be like, all right, you want to fight.
Oh, okay.
I'm hold the belt. You guys do your thing. On the bank here, we'll do a little like the mosh pit circles. We'll get the two in there. It'll be like there's a scene on Gladiator last night where all of the Roman troops just come into a circle and there's the two fighters in the middle. So it's just that. And I'll just stand there holding the belt up and we'll see if anyone goes at it. And then you can challenge them.
You could, make it so it happens at lunch. So you've got like 40 minutes, get them out on the field, maybe cordon off the wicket block. So no one's scuffing that up, heaven forbid. But get them out there so everyone can properly see them. Bit of lunchtime entertainment.
I think they actually do let people on the pitch at the base, or not on the pitch, but on the field.
Not on the pitch. Field. Yeah, that's fine.
So that could work.
Yeah, all of a sudden you got guys just smacking each other. Oh, they say that wrestling is fake, but there is some sort of contact.
Those guys have actually got to be athletes to be able to wrestle like that, right?
I would have thought so.
You've got to be able to, obviously there's the entertainment part, you got to be able to put on the show and work the crowd, but some of the shit that they pull off, the flips and the tackles and bouncing off the ropes and actually being able to make some of those moves look authentic is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's why I wish I actually got more into it.
And you will not see that at the Basin Reserve. Like they won't be that athletic, I promise you. It'll be like people in their mid-40s or early 50s or something like that. Trying to relive their glory days from a trampoline that their best mate used to have outside their house. Because that was the best way to do it, right? You just like do all the moves on the tramp or like get the trampoline close to the fence, jump up on the fence, do an elbow drop off the fence onto the trampoline and then like boing onto the grass. Yeah, not very safe. Not the same sort of trampolines as we've got these days with all the nets and spring free and all that sort of garbage.
The spring free, yeah. The nets I like because you can do the crack the egg game and there's no worries about falling off the side because you're definitely getting cracked if you fall off the side. But with the no nets, you can just bounce off the nets back in and you stay in your little ball. There ain't no chance of getting cracked that way.
Yeah. Oh, great times, mate. Great times.
All right, so wrestling at the cricket. That's good. That's actually like a bit of creativity in there. Much better than the boomers in Hawaiian shirts. So I commend you on that.
It's an easy go-to though, eh? The Hawaiian shirt. And Let me give you the tip. The older you get, the more comfortable you become in a Hawaiian shirt, or something like with a floral pattern. Things that you used to think were quite, you'd put them on out of irony, and then all of a sudden, like that's your wardrobe.
Do you own a Hawaiian shirt?
What's that?
You have one?
I don't really have Hawaiian shirts, but I've got I've got 4 shirts that are floral.
Okay.
So borderline Hawaiian shirts.
Right.
And that's kind of like my go-to now. So the people that you saw at Hagley Oval probably weren't dressing up. They were just wearing their everyday attire.
So dress-up day just worked for them. They could just pull out another shirt from the closet and just be like, right, I'm just going to cricket again.
Yeah.
Dress-up day is every day for them.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, let's talk the big round ball now. A-League Week 6. So we talked about the multi, and it felt like nothing could go wrong, right? It was 1 playing the bottom, 2 playing 12, and it was everything felt like it was set in stone.
And then the only thing that went right was Auckland winning.
If you're cashing in on Auckland, you're living pretty at the moment, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but that multi, I mean, I just going back in my mind to last week, and we were talking about it, and I hope I didn't, but I feel like I did come across as quite smug, like, if you know a thing or two about the A-League, then there's plenty of money to be had, Charlie. And look at these horrible mismatches that are coming up in match day 6, and then it just totally blew up in my face. And what was the game? Was it the 4-all draw?
Yes,
the 4-all draw. Oh my God, what a nightmare that was.
I know.
And the match was settled and time added on with an own goal. Like, stop. There's a phrase that they toss around in Australia called peak A-League, and it's whenever anything just blows chunks. And that was pretty much that entire weekend, outside of what happened with Auckland beating the Jets at Mount Smart Stadium. But yeah. God. And like the first leg of the multi failed as well because it was Adelaide 2, Perth 2.
Yeah.
So, just a nightmare from...
At least it didn't have you hanging on to the last leg and rip your heart out at the end.
Yeah, it was just like rip the Band-Aid off right at the start. Like, you will not win.
Yeah. Don't worry about this. Done. We'll scratch that off now.
Yeah, just look forward to the Auckland game. Forget about everything else.
So we had Adelaide 2-2 against Perth. Auckland 2-0 against Newcastle. Melbourne City went down to Western Sydney, 2-0. Brisbane, Macarthur 4-4, and then the victory rounded things off with a 3-1 win over Western United. Now, looking back at that multi, it was very compelling reasons. Would you go ahead and place that again, looking at those matchups? So everything felt right. You'd be placing that again, right? There wouldn't be anything you'd change about that.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Which makes the multi feel like it should have been even more safe, but...
Yeah.
Lucky we used odds boost and not multi-rescue, because multi-rescue would have been a waste as well.
That's right. But, I'll look ahead to the games this weekend and probably do something similar. We'll talk more about that in a couple of days' time, though. I just can't learn my lesson.
Well, we'll have 6 games this week to talk about, so instead of the 5, you can try your luck with 6.
Yeah, and probably get the Band-Aid ripped off again in match number 1.
Yeah. Well, if we look at this week, Auckland, still top of the table, undefeated, not conceded. They've looked like the best team in the comp. They've beaten Sydney. They've beaten good teams. They're still 5th favourites in the bookies to take out the grand final. Is that like what we talked about last week with it being such a long season? They're a new team. Not sure if they've got the minerals to get the job done, or what do you think about them sitting at 5th despite undefeated, unconceded?
Yeah, I would have thought that sort of record, and I know it's early in the season, but that kind of record where they've won every single game, like it's not a win here, a draw there, a win here, like they've won every single game and they haven't conceded a goal. Like nobody's troubled Alex Paulson in goal, or at least when he's been called into action, he's been capable. He's been able to repel every possible shot on his goal. I would have thought that would put them right at the top in terms of favoritism for the title. But then when you look back to last season, and the Wellington Phoenix had their best ever season statistically. It was their best ever season. They've been going for, 16, 17 years. And they still didn't make the grand final. So it's one thing, starting off really strong and doing well throughout the regular season, but then you almost need a reset when it comes to playoffs football as well. And so the other teams that they've got, I think it's Melbourne Victory, Sydney FC.
Yeah,
those teams. They're used to the A-League. They've been around a long time. They've got strong squads. Sure, they haven't gotten off to the best start like Auckland FC, but they'll be there or thereabouts. And so you can almost like bank on them. They've been reliable for a long time, whereas Auckland is a new entity. And as we talked about last week, Charlie, as soon as they lose a few players, as soon as someone's out through suspension, injury, you don't know how they're going to respond. But I think like you could almost get on them, right, at that kind of price. What is it, $7.50?
$7.50, yeah.
Yeah. It's good value, man, for a team that is undefeated and hasn't conceded a goal.
Yeah.
How do what are you like the justification for them not being elevated in the odds?
I don't know. I think Melbourne Victory and Sydney FC, both very good teams. Central Coast look like they've kind of lost their way a little bit. They've lost a lot of players. They're kind of rebuilding, yet they're still $6 to win it, the whole thing. And I think the way the A-League works, I think the format of it makes it a lot harder to win, despite, like you said, the Phoenix having their best season last year. It's still such a tough task to go and win a home and away league semi-final and then go and win the grand final. So I think what I'm seeing in the minor premiership is more where I'd see the Auckland FC should be sitting at about the grand final winner. They're paying $4 to win the minor premiership. Melbourne Victory are favourites at $3. So I think that's kind of where I'd more see Auckland sitting around that $4-5 mark. $5 gets them second favourite. I think that's fair. Second favourite to take out the grand final. At the rate they're going, I mean, you can't predict injuries, suspensions, that sort of thing. So if you just think about how they're doing and their trajectory upwards seems unlimited at the moment. I mean, they just keep going. It's going to have to stop at some point, I would assume. But who knows? I think they should be sitting around that $4 to $6 mark, I reckon.
I mean, we still need to see them on the road for long periods of time. They've been really fortunate the way the draw has been constructed, that they've played, what is it now, 3 games at Mount Smart Stadium, a game in New Zealand down at Sky Stadium, and then they've only played 1 game in Australia in the first 5 matches that they've played. So at some point throughout the course of the season, they're going to be away consistently, and then we'll find out a little bit more about how they cope with that. But for the moment, I just can't get over the fact that there hasn't been that readjustment in terms of the odds.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get battle tested at some point, but if there was any time to get on them, it would probably be now, I'd suggest. And I might actually dabble on that, especially ahead of this weekend. I mean, if they get up over the Phoenix this weekend again, who knows, that then we might see that odds readjustment again. I guess it's a home game. The Phoenix are a top 4 team though as well, so you beat another top 4 team, they're going to have to do something.
Yeah, look, I think the Wellington Phoenix could do them this weekend, eh? Hand them their first loss.
For them to do it, it's set up for them. If anyone's going to beat Auckland FC, I think it's got to be the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix need all of their players available. I think the last game they played, they did it tough without Tim Payne and Sam Sutton, and their fullbacks are key to what they do. Tim Payne is awesome down that right-hand side. Sam Sutton, he loves to get forward as well down the left. Having Retre in a midfield role, I want to see more of Marco Rojas. If they can get all these ingredients in the pot and cook things up at Mount Smart Stadium, then look, I called it last week that Costa Barbarouses will be the first to put something past Alex Paulson in goal. But, I mean, we might see a few more goals as well. And I wonder whether the Phoenix might win something like 2-1 or 3-2. Could be a goal fest out there.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well. I mean, I'm trying to write the preview for the game, and I'm just thinking it's going to be... The first game was so tight. It was neither team wanting to put a foot wrong. But I think now we're a few weeks in. Both teams are playing really good football. The confidence is there in both teams. And I just think, hopefully, we see a bit of a shootout and we see 3, 4, 5 goals.
And, there's always something on it, right? Like Alex Paulson playing against his old team, and there'll be some Knicks supporters out there who are filthy on him. Oh, he's left us and gone to the Auckland team. What a prick, and all that sort of stuff. But Callan Elliott as well, who we saw against the Jets when Sakai was ruled out through injury. Callan Elliott is another one who's a former Knicks player. And when he was with the Black and Yellow, he performed so well that he was selected to the All Whites. And then all of a sudden his form dipped away. And so he's had a really interesting couple of years, actually, Callan. He went over to Scotland, tried his luck over there, trialled with a number of teams. He's come back into Auckland. His path to the first team has been blocked because obviously you've got Sakai, who's the captain, and then De Vries on the other side, who's been very, very good, and he's forced his way back into the All-White setup as well. So, he's bided his time, put in a really good shift against the Jets. And so if Sakai is unavailable again through injury, wouldn't that be cool to see Callan go up against his former club as well?
I mean, the storylines just keep making themselves right for this game. Do you know what the weather's meant to be like on Saturday? Because we're going to get down there. And I mean, the crowd showed up on a rainy day in Auckland.
Let me just check the forecast.
Have a look, because we're going to be there, and you're going to be in your Knicks jersey. And I'm going to be in
Saturday's
an
good,
AFC
mate.
jersey.
It's good.
Saturday's looking good. So we're going to get a good crowd. It's sold out, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think there's like a couple of spare seats.
And
that's it.
They're potentially doing some tickets for the bank as well.
Oh, wow. Well, up by where the slide is?
I think so, yeah. So you could be sitting watching the game by the slide, and zoop, kids going down screaming past you.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mate, I'm looking forward to it. What I'm not looking forward to is wearing that Phoenix shirt and copping a shitload of grief from all of the Auckland FC fans, and in particular the ones in the port. But to those people, like, just allow others to support their club and do it free of violence. Thanks. I mean, I can handle a little bit of banter and some sledging, but I don't want to get into any sort of like roughhousing or fisticuffs. Yeah. I mean, we talked previously about some poor young kid who was in a Phoenix shirt the very first game where they played against the Brisbane Roar, and I'd be shocked if he wasn't crying, that kid. And look, maybe I've got slightly thicker skin, and maybe I'm slightly better built than that pencil, but I just don't want to get into a fist fight.
We might see this weekend, because I might be trying to do my best for you to maybe instigate something like that. I'll get my practice in at the cricket, starting the fights at the cricket.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to Mount Smart and we'll try to see what we can set up. But I think we're going to have a heck of a time. You in your Phoenix jersey, me in the AFC jersey, and we're going to see what we're going to do.
Wasn't it weird, though? Because like, I'm an Aucklander who supports the Wellington Phoenix. You're from Wellington. You're going to be wearing an Auckland FC top. Yeah. It's so strange. And like the fans who'll be spitting venom in my direction are probably the same people who 6 months ago supported the Wellington Phoenix.
Yeah. That was one of our questions that we were going to ask at the first game was, so obviously Auckland FC, new team, who did you support beforehand? Was it the Phoenix? Was it you didn't care about the A-League? Was it someone in the Premier League? But now you're Auckland FC, but lots of them would have been the Phoenix, I guarantee.
Oh, of course. Like I'm one of those strange Aucklanders that feel like the Knicks are missing a trick by abandoning the Super City. Like there were 20,000 people there, I think, for a Phoenix home game at Eden Park the last time they played there. And so, what, you just walk away from all of those people who turned up and watched you play and enjoyed the experience? Like, what, we're never going to see another Phoenix home game in Auckland? That's, I honestly think that they should rethink that, because otherwise you're just handing over the supporter base, right? You're going, oh, well, look, there are all these people in Auckland that happily turned up to watch us. Now we're not going to be there. You may as well have them. There you go.
Do you reckon if the Phoenix had a home game at Eden Park, you'd see a lot of Phoenix supporters still turn up who were Aucklanders?
Yeah, if they're not playing Auckland, I think all of a sudden the people who have got Auckland FC jerseys just keep them in the chest of drawers that weekend, and then pull on the old black and yellow kit and hope they're not seen by their mates. Yeah.
So just switch allegiances for the week.
Yeah.
Go watch the Phoenix take on the Brisbane Roar at Eden Park.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, David Dome, if you're out there listening, mate, like just have a good hard long think about it, Domey, and let's get the Phoenix back to Auckland playing a home game at some point, please.
Just not against Auckland.
Just not against Auckland, no.
I think that would be robbing Wellingtonians of an unreal experience. Like the first derby game down here, they got a very good crowd out to Sky Stadium. You take your derby game, home game for the Phoenix, and throw it in Auckland. It's almost like a double finger to Wellingtonians, being like, you're not going to get the derby game down here.
Can we just in Auckland? Can we just say, like, it's very early in the season to have played 2 derby games, isn't it? What's up with the scheduling? Because, you know, I was thinking to myself, like, eke it out throughout the course of the season, and in its infancy, this whole rivalry thing, why don't you put something on Waitangi Day? Like, have a Waitangi Day Kiwi Classico. Like that's what happens every year. So you can bank on it. You can count on it happening every single year. Phoenix plays Auckland. And I thought, I had a look at the schedule, and Auckland isn't playing over Waitangi weekend. And I thought, well, maybe there's like a reason for that. Is there an international window? No, there isn't. And then I had a look at the Knicks schedule.
That's a great idea, actually.
They are playing. The Phoenix are playing on Waitangi Day, and they're playing against the Brisbane Roar. And I'm thinking, what a missed opportunity that is. Like, okay, it's going to be cool because earlier this year, the Phoenix got a really big crowd on Waitangi Day. So I'm assuming the same thing will happen in 2025. But yeah, I reckon the A-League have dropped the ball there, where they could have just said, on New Zealand's National Day, let's have the 2 teams playing each other. It hasn't happened.
That's surely someone had thought of that and had pitched that, you'd think. But maybe not.
Don't know, man. Don't know.
That does definitely seem like a massive missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's a huge oversight. Like, let's get these guys playing against each other on, like, 2 New Zealand teams on New Zealand's day.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer, man.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's the second derby game in 7 weeks. Yeah. And then we've got a third, but you'd think you'd space them out. And I feel like it's not that uncommon for the A-League. There's been quite a few derby games over in Aussie as well, that I think there've been 2 others that have already played 2 derby games.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's up with that.
I understand that there's an attraction to it, like, derby there, derby here, but like, just it's a bit of oversaturation early, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, as you say, like, there's a third encounter, but you've got to wait an eternity for it. So, in my humble opinion, just
the season hot and just be like, right, we're going to throw all these derbies. Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to see lots of viewership, and then it gets people interested into the season, and then it kind of just goes about its business, and then derbies again at the end of the season.
I don't know. There's got to be a method to their madness, and look, I don't want to sit here and tell the A-League how to structure their draw, because it must be pretty difficult to figure out who's playing who, when, and where. But in terms of, you know, satisfying the New Zealand audience, a Waitangi Day match just seems like it's like Lockett and Eddie. Just do it.
Yeah, it does seem like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll park that and we'll look at the Premier League. So obviously Liverpool, with their win, they are 9 points clear at the top of the table, and then you've got Arsenal.
Of your Arsenal.
who both won. Three best teams in the Premier League. What do you think about that?
Seems that way, mate. Yep.
Yeah.
My team's the best. Your team is, second.
Second? We are second.
Yeah, you're
Chelsea
second.
third.
And Chelsea third. And you've got to almost put a line through Manchester City, which seems bonkers given their dominance over the last however long. And it seems even stranger that they can be, tumbling down the ladder because of one guy, Rodri not being there. Or maybe it's got to be bigger than that,
Does that just build the case for him being Ballon d'Or? Because he was there, then Man City were unbeatable. But when he's not, they just fall apart.
Yeah. It's probably a bit of that and an aging squad. But yeah, it just seems weird to see Pep Guardiola on the sideline without a clue. How do I fix this? How do I arrest the slide? Usually it's just we'll just bring on all of these superstar players if we're down a goal and all of a sudden we've won 3-1, but it ain't happening for him. And on the other side of the coin, watching what's happening with Liverpool at the moment, with essentially the same squad that Jurgen Klopp had last season, just with a different manager, Arne Slot has really reinvigorated this team, and they're playing some incredible football. It's so cool to see, and I don't want to count my chickens, but if you're top of the heap at Christmas time, then don't you usually win the Premier League?
Something like that. It is something like that. I think it's one of the biggest leads going into Christmas. I think anyone with an 8-point lead at Christmas have gone on to win the league.
Oh wow!
It only happened twice, maybe, that a team's gone into Christmas with 8 or 9-point lead, and both teams have gone on to win. So you're sitting pretty, but also you said put a line through Man City. The lowest they've come from at Christmas is 8th to come and win the Premier League. So they're not quite at 8th. So, I mean, I'd love to count them out, but you never know. So, we are, over a third of the way through of the season. You've talked about City, you've talked about Liverpool. What is the biggest surprise so far through the season? Because for me, I think it is the way Arne Slot has just turned essentially the same squad, like you said, and just propelled you guys forward, up and away, and just look unbelievable. You look the business at the moment with the same squad. So I think that the way Slot's come in has been the biggest surprise to see Liverpool 9 points clear for me.
Yeah. It's hard to disagree with that, and how far out in front they are. That is a shock. Like, if you had told me Liverpool's on top by 1 or 2 points from Man City or Arsenal, then you go, oh yeah, that's great that they're top, but it's still so tight. But to be that far ahead after a third of the season, that's phenomenal. I suppose other surprises would be, Chris Wood and Nottingham Forest in the top 6. And Woodsy banging in the goals, because there once was a time when he turned up at Nottingham Forest, he wasn't the first choice striker under Steve Cooper, and ever since Nuno's come in, Wood has definitely become his top dog, to the point now that he is the joint top Premier League goal scorer for Nottingham Forest with 24. And so it's just a matter of time. It's inevitable that he will score that 25th goal and be the highest scorer for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Can you believe that? A New Zealander, little old New Zealand, producing a top quality striker like that. So, that's a great surprise. Just seeing like the little teams that could, like Forest and like Brighton, doing really well. Like Manchester United the other day with their win against Everton, a team that they should beat at Old Trafford. They finally beat someone convincingly. They finally get into the top half of the table, but Brighton's been there all season long, and I find them a really impressive club, because they've come such a long way up that English football pyramid to be where they are today, and it's all about their recruitment. They don't seek out the rock stars, but they They bring in guys who they think can play a role, and then they can flick them off for a decent amount of coin, and then continue that process. And so, their talent ID is just absolutely wild. And who knows, man? Like they might be pushing for Champions League spots.
They could be. I feel like Brighton play or manage their business like FC25 career mode as a manager mode. You go out there and you scout their young guns and you bring them in and they're 70 or 68 rated, but their potential's 93. You go and play them until they get to 87 rated, then you sell them for a good bunch of coin, and you've got a whole bunch more to keep bringing them in. It is impressive the way they've done things, and you got to commend them for it.
Yeah. So, look, those are probably the things for me, and obviously Man City and their run at the moment. Like, if you had told me at the start of the season that Manchester City would be 5th at this point and they'd be on this winless streak, like I just wouldn't have believed it. But you take Rodri out, and all of a sudden they look beatable.
Yeah. Cracks that have gotten a lot bigger since.
And in truth, Charlie, like Liverpool, they could have won by so much more than the 2-0 margin. Like, they were dominating them. And there was only one real clear-cut opportunity that Virgil van Dijk presented Kevin De Bruyne with. Yeah. And Kelleher in goal was up to the task. That was the only clear-cut chance that Man City had at Anfield on Monday.
And that one came in like the 85th minute or something?
Yeah.
Quite late in the piece?
Yeah. And, Van Dijk, I think he hit the bar, or did he hit the post? And Diaz hit the post, and Trent Alexander-Arnold had a shot that maybe flicked the outside of the post as well. Yeah.
That was a lovely strike.
Honestly, man, like, it could have been so much more. They should have buried them. On another day, it's 5 or 6. But, that's how far Man City's fallen at the minute.
Yeah, well, Man City falling down and Man United back up. It seems like they're going back through their annual cycle, sack the manager, he's useless, bring in a new guy. We'll work things out, okay. He sucks again. All right, sack him, bring in a new one. We're going to work it out, we're back, give it some time. And it just feels like it keeps going around. Do you reckon that's the case, or are they actually back?
No, they're not back. It's the classic new manager comes in, the players, there's a bit of a surge in energy. They had the good fortune of playing Everton and Ipswich in his first 2 matches in charge in the Premier League. Like, Ipswich are going to be fighting or staving off relegation. Everton are pretty much the same as well. It'll be interesting to see Amorim a little bit longer in the coach's seat, take on some of those big teams as well, and see what he's actually been able to achieve with that squad. Because when you look at the squad, it's not you can't even compare it to the halcyon days of Manchester United when they were untouchable. Like, they were phenomenally good, and this squad just looks pretty average at best, right? Yeah,
it doesn't have that same intimidation factor as they once had.
No way at all. And so, I feel like where they are right now, sort of like, bottom half of the top 10, that's pretty much where they'll wind up this season. I mean, feel free to prove me wrong, Manchester United, but I don't know. I just don't see it. Like, I see Manchester City sorting their shit out before Manchester United surges up the table.
What United fans will say to that is, give it time. We're working things out. Give Ruben the time to sort his squad out, and employ his tactics to the team, and they'll just run with that for the next wee while.
In reality, they should have brought in a new manager in the off-season, and I think the approach they took with Ten Hag was a soft one. So he wins a trophy right at the tail end of the season, and then that's enough to basically ruin this season as well. Yeah. Because so you make the decision, he's your guy for the upcoming season. He's got a pre-season with this squad. He's got the first, 10, 11 matches, and then they finally go, the feelings that we had at the tail end of last season, they were accurate. We should have got rid of him. Now we bring in a new guy. It's just... You've wasted so much time when you knew in your heart of hearts that you should have got rid of the guy.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I mean, I think lots of my friends who are United supporters wanted them gone. But and then contradictory to that, they're like, "Yep, we've won a trophy. We're good. You got like talking to me, Arsenal. You guys haven't won anything. So what can you guys say?" But tough luck. You had to stick with Ten Hag again for another 10 weeks and just ruin this season. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well.
to round things off, the group chat question of the week for you is: we're going to build a Mount Rushmore of your sport bucket list. So you choose four things. Sporting events you'd want to attend. So your top four.
Okay.
What do you got?
Liverpool winning an FA Cup final, or could I sort of swap it out? If Liverpool was in if they were in the mix for the Premier League title and it came down to the final day and they were playing at Anfield and then they win the match and they win the title, like that would be a really cool experience to be part of. So something football related with Liverpool.
Yeah.
That would be one. Two would be Eels winning a grand final.
Yep, and you'd be there.
I'd love to be there. Three would be Wimbledon.
Yep.
Love to go to Wimbledon, watch some tennis, eat some strawberries and cream. And then four would be FIFA World Cup final.
Yeah. Nice.
What do you got?
I had the Football World Cup. It would be a final, but I just think the whole Football World Cup as a whole, somewhere in Europe, I would like. I couldn't pinpoint where, but I just thought like I was basing it back. The Euros were what, in Germany? Just gone. Was it?
So
Germany?
essentially, you're saying you don't want to go to the Canada, America, Mexico one?
No, I would go to it if it was in South America, like in Argentina or Brazil. That would be unreal.
Yeah,
I just think Europe. It would be cool to see the Football World Cup in Europe and then go to the final.
You want to go to a place where they refer to the game as football.
Yes, not soccer.
Yeah.
Number two, I will be heading to America for the Masters, the most prestigious golf tournament there is. And I think it's super hard to get to, but it's on the bucket list. We'll try. One of the other ones, I've been to a River Plate game actually, but I'd love to go to River Plate versus Boca Juniors. Because that, I think you'd be scared. And I think you'd need to like fend for your life a little bit. But I think that just adds to the whole experience and would be unbelievable.
Yeah,
and if you can come out of it to tell the story, then that's even better.
Here's me freaking out about wearing a Phoenix shirt to Mount Smart Stadium. Like if you get the wrong jersey on and you sat in the wrong spot, like good luck to you.
Yeah, it's unreal. Like those games are unreal. I mean, the River Plate one that I went to was just I can't remember who it was against, but they were away, and there's guys like SWAT team around the pitch, and there's a moat between the grandstand and the pitch, and it was just wild.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Go for it.
About Boca Juniors. So a long time ago when the All Whites went to South Africa 2010 and came back undefeated, there was talk of a parade through Wellington, I think, to celebrate the fact that they'd done this incredible thing. And then as part of the parade, it wasn't just the All Whites that were going to be on the float or the double-decker bus. I think they were going to bring in members of the Wellington Phoenix, and then Boca Juniors were in town and they were playing the Phoenix. And so it was going to be an All Whites Wellington Phoenix Boca Juniors parade. And dear old Willie Losey, rest his soul, he was on the Radio Sport one day, and he's talking about this, and he couldn't understand, like, look, we've got the All Whites and they've done this amazing thing. Like, let's just celebrate the All Whites. Why does everybody have to get involved? Like, I don't want to see members of the Wellington Phoenix. And as for the Boca Juniors, I mean, it's not even their senior team.
Was it not?
No. He got confused because, like, it says juniors, right?
Yeah.
He thought it was like a bunch of under-14s or something. And it's like, no, Willie. You got it wrong, man. Like, that's the team name. They're the Boca Juniors. And he's going off on this massive rant, and he ended it with that. It's like, oh, brilliant.
It's not even their senior team.
It's not even their senior team, Charlie.
We were the All Whites were the only undefeated team in that World Cup, weren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's how good we were, man. Like, imagine if we had got out of the group and just keep on keeping
Keep on being undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually, you win the title.
Exactly.
You win the World Cup. We could have won it in South Africa, man.
I know. I remember that there was, I would have been in primary school, but we're counting the steps with Maccas. The Maccas count the steps things, the steps to the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
That's a core memory I've got.
Sorry, mate. I interrupted your Mount Rushmore thing. So where did we get to?
The last year, so I've got the Football World Cup anywhere in Europe, Masters, the Boca Juniors River Plate, and then the last one would be to watch the All Blacks win a Rugby World Cup at Ellis Park against South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I think watching games at Ellis Park, and it really cemented it for me watching this year's one. Ellis Park just looks like an unreal experience. It's built straight up, so you feel like you're sitting on top of everyone below you. Apparently outside of the stadium before and after is just a massive event as well. You got all the braais cooking, all the meat cooking, you just get involved. And for it to be a World Cup final against South Africa, in South Africa, again, you'd probably need to fight for your life after it. But I think that would be a cool show to witness. So that's my Mount Rushmore for me.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to dress up as an All Black supporter, just take your Hulk Hogan costume, mate, and your World Wrestling Federation belt, and just
see
beat
if I
the
can
crap
get
out
the
of
belt
some people.
by the end of it.
Yeah,
Come out.
Oh man,
yeah, we did it.
Those are some pretty good sporting events, mate.
Yeah, some good. I think Wimbledon was kind of up there. I was tossing that up. Wimbledon would be a good one. Tour de France feels like I could get behind it, but I don't think it makes a Mount Rushmore because it's a whole.
Yeah.
It's a long time. What were the other ones? The Olympics. The Olympics would be cool to get to. Go and watch track and field at the Olympics.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Watch the 100. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I've got for you, Goran. So unless you want to add anything else, I reckon we call it quits, mate.
I think I'm done. mate. And I'll just continue to work on my karate ahead of Saturday, and hopefully, we have no trouble.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. We will be back again on Thursday. We're going to be together on Thursday, hopefully, at Mount Smart. So that could be a bit of fun. So
look forward to
tune
it.
in for that. Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see you then. That'll do.
Bye-bye.